Hi, we're the Doom Buddies. My name's Erin.
And I'm Kate.
And we're childless millennial Disney adults.
Serving up the hottest takes and the best tips and tricks.
So we're back from our vacation, which we did Disney World and we did Universal Halloween Horror Nights. So tonight we are talking about Horror Nights and basically our takeaways, but mainly our top 5 houses and top 1 scare zone. And then we're also going to talk about maybe some of the things we didn't like. So we are going to start with Kate because, again, they are the Scream Queen.
Ooh.
Maybe I'm the Scream Queen, but you're the spooky bitch. Because I'm the screamer.
You are a Scream Queen. I feel like maybe Final Girl, you know?
Yeah, Kate's definitely Final Girl energy.
Or Jason likes to say, them fatale.
Yeah. Ooh. That's very good.
Instead of femme, you know.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of the NB thing.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so Kate's top 5 houses. So let's see how it's changed from what we originally said.
All right, so I guess we should start with the number 5. So my number 5, which was originally my number 3, is Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate. I really liked this house. It was not, like, scary in a way of, like, things being, like, grotesque or gory or where I really felt fear, but the design of it and the story that it told was really cool. I think that's why it just dropped down in my rankings, because it didn't really have the element of, like, horror to it. It was more of an adventure. But I still really liked it because of that.
Yeah,
and I liked the whole costume design behind the ice wizard and the fire wizard. They looked incredible,
and they like lit up. It was very cool. It
really was cool. And we ended up picking the winning side. We picked the ice side.
We got Merlin!
And Merlin did show up at the very end, and he was so cool with his big staff and like his costume, like, and he was like, "Congratulate, you saved the realm," or whatever. And we were like, "Oh my god!"
And I obviously I have some raw footage of this, and I may or may not put it in our YouTube video, but kind of like our thoughts as we got out of the house.
Yeah.
So I might like input that in here, but I just thought it was funny and interesting because we saw everyone go the fire route. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think I went in first, and I was just like, nah, I'm doing the road less traveled, bitch.
Yeah, because you literally got to like a fork in the thing, and it was like, choose your side, and it's like a conga line of people going into the houses, and everybody just was going that way, and we're like, well, we don't want to be around people at all, period.
Usually not.
So let's go this way where nobody else is going, and we were right.
It ended up being the right side.
Yeah, which is cool. And we didn't go in it again, not for, I think, any real reason other than we were like, well, we got the winning side, and like it was cool, but there were ones that were just better to do a second time. That one was good, but like obviously not my number 1.
Right. Yeah, I would say that's fair. And honestly, well, I'll save this for later. I'll talk about this later. But let's go to your number 4.
Number 4 for me was Darkest Deal.
Ooh.
Darkest Deal was, again, another one of their original like concepts, and I didn't know what to expect. I think we talked about it in our video when we were talking about what the houses were, like what their themes were, and we didn't really know what to expect, and we kind of predicted it would be like making a deal with the devil to be a star, and that really kind of was what it was, but it was like you ended up encountering all these other people who had made deals with this entity and how it ended up for them, and it was cool. It was a really good house. It had incredible set design. Had some of the best scares.
Oh my gosh, it got me so good. And I loved the demons, like the way that they made him look was so creepy and scary. And I mean, man, that thing popping out at you, like, oh man, it was good.
It was really good. And the guy who was the main character, like, did a good job of like making you kind of feel for him, for his story. and the whole, I don't know, it told a good story. You could tell what the story, like, you didn't have to guess too much. And the way they executed it was amazing.
It really was. And this obviously made my list, but I'll tell you guys, that later. But it, not only the storytelling, but Universal is so good in the houses with misdirection that, like, you see I'm sorry, spoiler alert, you see the guy performing on stage, playing guitar and singing, and you see the demon behind him, like, looming in the corner. And you're looking at that, and then, next thing you know, you look over here, and there's a fucking demon staring at you in the face.
Yeah.
And it's...
It had one of the best scares, which, again, will be a spoiler alert. But one of the best scares was in that same room. As you're about to leave, you walk past a piano.
Yeah.
And the piano, it looks like a solid object, but there was, like, a little curtain, like a little window in the piano, so that one of the demons, like, popped out of it, like, right at you. Like, how are they hiding in there? I don't know how they got in there, but it was amazing. A good, like, they got me both times that we went in there.
We went in there twice, for sure. All right,
top 3. Number 3 for me was Blood Moon, Dark Offerings.
That one was very good.
It was really good. It was, it didn't make my list the first time around, but again, I'm a sucker for a good, like, storytelling experience, and it told a good story, like how we kind of speculated it would be about, similar to American Horror Story, and, like, there's like a colonial or pilgrim type
vibe
colony thing, and they're sacrificing people to some sort of entity that I didn't really figure out what it exactly was. It definitely was evil, but they were making some sort of sacrifices to appease these creatures and have, like, a prosperous colony or whatever. And it was a whole lot of, like, again, the set was really cool, going through, like, churches and barns. And
the church was really cool because, again, you're walking in, and spoilers, but I mean, I'm sure you guys probably have either seen or gone through them already. If not, then maybe stop the video right now. But yeah, they're facing, this direction, and you're walking through, and you don't know who's real or who's not, and who's going to jump out at you. So it's like...
Yeah, there were, like, just silhouettes of people in the pews.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, someone's
gonna be
gonna be real.
Yeah.
And there actually were multiple.
Yes.
Like, and I don't know if you, like, the one time one guy popped out on one side, and then a girl popped out on the other side, and she was, like, stabbing her own eyes out.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't see that the first time. Like, again, it's always good to go through them multiple times, especially if you like them, because you'll see new things.
Yeah.
And it had a really cool, like, end scene where, like, the leader of this cult was kind of just, like, doing her thing and, like, summoning something, and it was, like, a really weird flesh
tree or something.
Like, bodies molded into, like, a pile of
just
I can't. You just have to.
See it. Honestly, the sets were one of the best, I think, in that house as well. Like, just really, really well done. Obviously fit the theme perfectly. I mean, even just the little details that they have you walking through the homes, and you see, like, the little things that they would have in their little village. Like, it's just amazing. I don't know. They just nailed it.
It gave me, like, that sense of, like, fear of, like, like, the unknown. Like, I don't know what this cult is and what they're doing. Like, it made me, like, invested in the story. Like, I'm walking through and I'm, like, trying to figure it out. I'm like...
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2, which I had originally said would be my number 2, was the Universal Monsters Unmasked.
Oh, that one was so good.
It was so good. They never disappoint with their Universal Monsters. They do them proud. They do me proud. This one was a really good one as far as the senses go. They had smells. They had the first room that you walked in, it was raining.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, there was, like, an old-timey, like, constable, like, up on a bridge, and he's like, be careful, like, you know, because somebody just got murdered, and if you go into the city at night, like, be careful, and it's raining and like thundering, and you're walking through the alleyways, like,
and you literally like walk into the sewer, like,
it really was incredible, the set design, the walking into the Phantom section, smelling the roses. And they gave it like a little bit of their own twist on the Phantom's story, and like made him, I mean, obviously he's a murderer. Yeah. But they made him more like a slasher type. Yeah. And Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they made him like more like a beast, like like a monster. Yep. Because in some versions he's just like a guy. Yep. He's still a guy either way. Yeah. But like this one, he was like a almost monster. Like a wolf man in a way. Like he had like these teeth, and he was like hairy. Yep. He was ripping people up. Yep. Oh man. It had like layers. Like, you know, it had people up high and people down low and people in the like.
And honestly, people like, I'm sure, like I've heard people, you know, weren't as scared of this one, which fine, whatever. How? But like appreciate how cool it was to have those different layers of people up high and people low. Like, man, like for me, like I just appreciated that they did that. Like I just thought that was awesome. Like, again, we're just gonna spoil it. The Hunchback, he literally was on some sort of bungee and like lunge. He was like way above tower, you,
like up in the like, and you hear the bells.
Yeah, like, and he like lunges forward, and like that's just so fucking sweet. Come on,
it's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
it really gave you the sense that he's about to jump down. Like, onto you. And get you.
Yeah. Oh my god, incredible. And I also thought that the makeup was really good and the masks and all of that were really good. Like
they were very, I feel like they were super interactive with us too.
Yeah.
Like for as much as, you know, the short amount of time that you're in there, like when the Invisible Man like popped out at one point, like he like put his hand like right in my face and like did like a little thing like to match what he was saying.
Yep.
And the Phantom like put his hand out to you and like whatever he was doing.
Yep.
Like it was very
interactive. Yeah, definitely.
Which I obviously love.
Yeah, I honestly, it's so different from like how it was. You know, our first time was during like aftermath of COVID, and they had like the fiberglass or whatever in front, so you could kind of tell when people were gonna come at you. So it's pretty cool to be going through these houses and have them literally stop you in your tracks and be in front of you and go, you know,
like they're literally putting, like, they're not touching you, and if they did, it would totally be an accident.
Right.
But like they really are blocking your path. They're putting their arms out in front of you. They're looming over you so that you stop or even back up a little bit.
Which like, I love.
Or they'll even, I think at one point, the Invisible Men, there were multiple, like, kind of ganged up on me, and like I can't move anywhere. I can't go anywhere. Yeah. Yep. They're all around me.
I like that. I prefer that.
It.
You know, like that's what we're here for. You know, so yeah, there was a lot of good things in that house that, you know, I feel like if I just chalk it up to you didn't have good scares if you went through there and didn't like it. Which happens. It happens, and that's probably why when we talk about the ones we didn't like, why we didn't like them.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I think I am obviously biased because I do like the classic monsters so much, but to me, that's just screams Halloween, so.
I agree. I agree.
You can't go wrong with that one.
I agree.
And number one for me, which is no surprise and still sticking by it, is Stranger Things. We went through this one twice as well, and it was worth the wait for the second time when we didn't have Express. It was worth it.
And we ended up buying, I think it was like $40 extra to do like a stay-in Scream. So we got
Scream early.
Scream early, thank you. And so we were able to go in and get ready to go through that before. Because we knew that without Express Pass, it was just going to be too crazy at the end of the night and even during the night.
Even with our Scream early pass, we still waited like 45
minutes.
Which isn't awful, but is long. and in the sun. It's not great.
Yeah.
But then by the time we had already been in the queue, like, we checked the app and it was up to 140 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, it was worth it.
It was 100%.
To sidetrack.
Sorry.
Stranger Things. I knew it was going to be great just because I love Stranger Things, and it told the story of season 4 like pretty perfectly. They did leave out some scenes and some characters, but the whole theme of it was really mostly about like Vecna and the kids. And the sets were amazing. They had like actors that like really did look like
the
kids,
characters,
like, as much as possible. And the music was good.
Oh man, yeah.
There was like the 11 performer
who looked
exactly like, what's her name, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of like getting up in your face too, like Vecna with his creepy claws and his fingers. He's like coming towards you, and Demogorgons.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really good. It wasn't scary, like in a sense of I'm afraid.
Yeah.
It was just like
iconic.
You were in it. Yeah. You were part of it. Like,
it was good. There were parts definitely where you jumped because, there'd be a part where, Lucas comes out of nowhere and
he came running out of the attic, like when Max is getting
in the air,
snapped up. And you did do like some, and Steve scared us every time.
Yeah.
And
we're like, oh, Steve!
We're like, oh, you Steve and Robin. Like,
yeah.
It was more like getting startled.
Who was the like jock asshole that? Jason. Oh yeah, that's right.
The Jason kid. And then the next scene, you see him like ripped in half.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
I think I flipped him off a few times.
But our favorite part was, the scene where Dustin and Eddie are on the top of the trailer, and that was really cool.
It was like an entire room for that scene. It was like open air. They had like the bats flying around.
It was cool.
And they had their little like combat gear.
That was awesome. And the first night, I don't know if you guys follow us on Instagram, but we were dressed as Eddie and Dustin. And oh man, that couldn't have been more perfect. And like, it was wonderful. And there were at the end too, there's a part where I feel like you could easily miss it because it happens when you're in the conga line. But the second time we went through, we were fortunate to see Elle and Vecna have like a little duel at the end. And that was so cool. Like,
they both like kind of just popped out from the side, and she was using her like mind powers.
Yeah.
And he was like reaching out, and again they blocked our path.
Yes.
Like, so we had, nowhere to, like, you have to witness
what's
happening.
Which was so, like, man, I want them to do that all the time. Like, those are the things you want to see.
They had the bonus scare at the end too, like,
yes.
So you're done with the house, like you go through the curtain, you can see the exit, like, and the security and the next line for the other house or whatever, and they had a Demogorgon out there.
Yep.
Like, to get you one last time.
Gets me every time.
Because you're like, oh, it's done, ha ha ha, and then they're like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Which we love that.
Yeah. So I guess that means we're going to my top 5. All right, so my list is a little different. You'll see some of the same ones, but it's a bit different. So my number 5 was the Yeti house. Yeti or not, here we come. This actually, just side note, was one of Ben's favorites, my boyfriend, and he really enjoyed it. And again, the sets were really good. You definitely you felt like you were transported to this campground.
It smelled like pine trees.
Yep. You know what? It's crazy.
Like wood, like.
Yeah, like it really didn't, like, it didn't feel like we were inside. Like, it just really was done well. I don't know.
They had like a lake.
Yeah.
Or like a pond at the one scene.
Yeah.
I'm like.
I know, they really go like all out. maybe this is on my top because they scared me so bad. Like the Yetis just really, I don't know. I got like every scare in that house, I feel like. And I really enjoyed the bear. Everyone's been clapping for the bear when they see him walk in. But like his neck is so big that like when he lunges out at you, it just like it's like
because
in your face.
He's supposed to be like a taxidermied bear.
Yeah.
Like he's not supposed to be a live bear because you're like in the lodge. I think
You are.
Or, like one
You
of the
are.
cabins,
You're right.
and there's all like other taxidermy animals.
Oh my god. Okay, so I didn't really catch that. So that's really amazing. Like,
so he's like standing there like this.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden like some
Ugh.
sort of motion sound happens, and he swings his. Because you know how, like,
His
the
big old
taxidermy
head.
ones are, like, kind of weirdly, like...
Proportioned.
They don't really look like that.
Yeah, 100%. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh my god, that's true.
It's a good... It's a scare that, like, you really didn't see coming. And because of the fan base being trolls like we are, and everyone's like, the bear!
Yeah,
I knew what the bear was before going into it.
Yeah.
But, like, if I didn't like that, it's such a good idea to, like, get you with something you would never expect.
For sure. So I just thought it was very well done. Very good sets, obviously. The scares were good.
It had comedy. It definitely
It
was one of
did.
the houses that had some humor in it.
Yeah. Okay, number 4 for me was Exorcist Believer. Oh my god, this one was so scary. Like, again, I think it's because I got most of the scares because I feel like Kate was a little disappointed that they didn't, because there were spots that like you feel like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But for me, that wasn't the case.
Which is great.
So obviously that the spiritual stuff is very scary to me. But man, like this house, like they pulled all the punches. And there was a specific room that really got me where the 2 girls in the scene, which they show in the trailer for the movie, of them like tied to like chairs in the middle of this room, and the bottom has like a rune or something at the bottom that obviously probably ties them to earth when they're trying to exorcise the demons. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I didn't see this part. You said the one girl was up on the wall barfing.
She was up on this like kind of like levitating, and somehow made it look like she was
puking,
throwing up onto the ceiling.
Ew.
It was like black, like
gross. I'm glad I missed that.
Yeah.
But so when you have to walk around the other girl who's like sitting in the chair like this, and of course, like HHN always does, you don't know if it's a dummy or if it's a real person. Well, this girl got up in my face. And I freaked out. Like, it was a good scare. It was a good scare.
It was a good scare, and it's a good misdirection. I mean, I know you didn't see the thing up there, but, like, if you're up looking at it like that...
Then that's even worse. It's even worse. Ooh. Ugh. And then, of course, they had, like, the demon at the end, which got out in front of me and did the things that we say, like, where you can't go anywhere. And that was so freaking scary. It was almost like it had like antlers and like just like black everything, but like glowing eyes. And yeah, that was crazy. I think I heard, just side note, that someone said that it's not in the movie, like the demon thing that's in the house.
Oh.
Which that's kind of sad. Like I would have expected that to be a thing,
Weird.
But I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the movie anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. That was one of the scariest ones for me. And because I got so scared, I think that's why it made my top 5.
People had made a lot of like complaints about that house smelling.
Oh, and yeah?
I didn't really notice any, like it wasn't like it smelled great, but people were like, I can't even go in there because it smells so much like puke and like shit. Like,
oh my god!
And I didn't really smell any of that, so maybe
I didn't either.
Maybe they toned it down or something.
It might be
like.
Oh man!
I kind of wish.
Like I
wish
as much
it was
as
stanky.
Yeah, like that's all part of it. You know what I mean? Like everyone, I mean, well, not everyone. I'm just gonna tell you guys now. I have a thing with puke. I absolutely like it's just awful for me. Even like we were walking down the side of the bridge across to go to wherever Simpson Land, and someone had upchucked everywhere, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
There's a lot of we saw a lot of barf being cleaned up.
Yeah, like what the fuck? I don't know. Anyway, that's unideal for me. I hate it. Gross. Bye. But that being said, I think it would be like cool in a haunted house, you know.
Yeah.
That'd be an extra element of fear for me.
It's immersive. You could provide. Well, you wouldn't. Maybe like somebody could actually provide the.
No.
Maybe that's what it was. Is that it never was part of it.
Yeah.
Just somebody did.
Maybe somebody did.
So on some nights it smells like throwback. But some nights it doesn't. Because someone had too much ghoul juice.
It happens. It happens. Or you had too much to, to snacky snack on. I don't know.
You got the shit scared out of you. You pooped yourself.
Makes sense.
What was this house smelling?
Wasn't there was a house with toilets though? Wasn't it the Yeti?
Yes, you did walk through.
Yeah, you walked through.
Did you see the snake come out of the toilet?
No.
Yeah.
The fuck?
There were a bunch of like open toilet seats. And
there was a snake in
there was one where there was a little animatronic.
No way.
Snake and it just went.
See, this is why you have to go through all the houses twice, I feel like.
It literally just went. Like it was such a small.
That's amazing. Oh my god. Okay. So my number 3 is Monsters Unmasked. So we already talked about that. I think I put that as my 3rd. I don't even remember. Kate remembers their original. I don't remember.
No, yours was the same.
Mine was Stranger Things, Last of Us, Monsters.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's the same. Loved that house. Again, I think we had such great scares, great interactions. In fact, I thought, like Kate said earlier, when the Phantom had his hand out to me, like, I was like, should I do it? Like, he wants me to...
Yeah, like, we really thought, like, are we supposed to...
I was like, am I supposed to? Like, I will.
Sure, okay. I'll live in the sewer with you.
I've been Christine. I mean, you might want to hear my voice.
Didn't we, like, sing at one point?
Yeah, we did.
We're very weird.
We're strange. It's fine.
When the Invisible Man said that he was like gonna imagine me putting my hand around your throat or something.
You're like, all right.
Do you know who I am? You can't say that to me.
Okay, my number 2 was The Darkest Deal. It had like this one was. If I didn't love Stranger Things so much, which, spoiler alert, that's my number 1, Darkest Deal would have been my top because the story was incredible, the scenes, the scares, it just had everything that I could have ever wanted, honestly. It was so, so good. Mm-hmm. So, man, I mean, I know we already talked about it, but yeah, that one I would go on probably again and again if I had...
You'd still find things... to see every time because the first time you're going through you're really overwhelmed, like you're kind of like there's a lot going on, so like you're trying so hard
to see everything,
to look, and then the second time you go through, now you've seen it, so you can kind of maybe look at some of the other details. But I feel like that was one of the houses where you could just keep finding things.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. It was just so good. And, like, even just, like, from start to finish, like, starting with the demon guy that, forming the contract with the guy. I can't remember his name from the story. But, yeah, until the very end where I'm pretty sure it kills him, where it...
Yeah, because you went through, like, the graveyard or, like, a cemetery, and there were other musicians that...
Right.
Like, had met, the same sort of fate, and...
Yep.
It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah. So, and then obviously number 1 for me was Stranger Things. And man, I have to say that this year I feel like they really did a great job in the houses. Like they just, the sets were just on point. Mm-hmm. I don't know, even in every house, like even the ones we didn't mention, the sets are just always top tier. And I just wish that like my memory was amazing so that I could just like replay it all in my mind, because that's just how good they were. Like
Well, that's why we have our lovely friends who are media
Yeah.
that have filmed walkthroughs, and you can relive it.
That's true. That's true. That is a goals for us someday, is to be media and to be able to do that. And hell, even live there so that we could be a frequent Fear Pass member and go so we can see and experience all of the houses over and over again.
I want them to put the front-facing camera on, like, to make you go through the house.
Yes!
And where it films your reactions. Like, I feel like I would beat myself.
For real. Honestly, they should just use my reactions for their fucking commercials.
They should.
Like,
They should. They really should.
I get so scared. And, like, it may not seem like it from what I'm saying because of how much I enjoy it, but, like, I do. I get really scared. But I love it. I love it. I love every second of it.
Yeah.
So, just to go on, I guess, from that, what were the ones we were most disappointed in?
Ugh.
Oh, man,
And
it
this
pains
sucks.
us. I know. We
It
don't
really
like to
sucks.
say this.
It sucks.
It does. So, our first one was Chucky.
Ugh.
Oh, my God.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. for
We
sure.
were literally, and you know, if you watched our other video, we were dreading
going
it.
through.
We were like, it's gonna be scary.
Yep.
Like,
The only part that scared me in that house was the very first walkthrough part where they had a live puppeteer with Chucky and his knife. I was like, I'm gonna fucking die if this is the whole house.
he was literally like to where the mic is to me, like that close, and was like watching you as you walked by. Like the puppeteer had his head like, and he would look at you, and he's like talking, and like, I'm like, that's real.
I just remember being like,
that's real.
I remember being like, no.
I was like,
no.
how far can I get away from this thing? Because
Yeah.
it's like right there, and then I'm thinking that that's what the rest of it
Me
was
too.
gonna be
Me too.
like, and it was not.
It wasn't. And
I really can't even tell you much. I don't even remember seeing that much of anything.
yeah.
I don't know if we missed, like, it was a shift change or we missed the scares.
It's possible. It's very possible there was a shift change and we missed things. I do remember seeing a lot of, like, from the show, a lot of his kills from the show. Like, I remember the lady in the dishwasher.
I saw that.
I remember there was another one in the basement, I think it was, where the guy gets electrocuted. Or his father gets electrocuted or whatever. So I remember, like, those things, and I remember the one that was kind of scary was the guy who popped out with Chucky on his back. I was like,
that
ugh.
was good. That was good.
Yeah, but I was telling Kate this, when you get to the part where there's all the boxes,
The good guy boxes.
the good guy boxes, like, he pops out, but, like, all I could think of is, like, when I was a little kid and I had my Barbie dolls and, like, someone was at the door and I just stuck her head out and, like, went like this and went, hi! You know, that's, like, what it seemed like to me, and it just seemed so underwhelming. I was like, ah,
Yeah, like,
man.
literally someone's just waving around a doll.
A doll like this. Like, I was just like, that's not doing it for me. I don't know. And then there was this weird part where you see him on the screen being like, I'll see you again or something next time.
He's just being him.
A dick. And we're like, oh, okay. And we're like, wait, what the fuck? Is that the end?
We were like, no way it's that short.
No, we're like, no way. And it didn't end up being done, but we were just like, we were so thrown off by that. I just like,
Like, it didn't. I was like, oh, I'm like, it's done? Because he says, like, whatever, see you next time. And then you walked into the next part and there was nothing there. It was just like blank space.
Right. And we're like,
is this the exit? And then it continued, but, like, it was so disjointed. It didn't make any sense.
And then, like, the last cool thing I remember seeing is, like, the flashing of light and you see a bunch of Chucky dolls all around you. And I was like, oh, like, and they were, like, the different types of...
There was, like, a melted one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really, like, and I don't have a good memory to begin with, but I really can't remember much of anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a bad sign.
I know. Ugh. And
I was
really...
I was not drunk or anything. I'm gonna say that.
No.
I just really did not see anything.
We were a little
I'm like
drunk.
looking around and I'm like trying to find things to look at, and I was like,
yeah, we were a little drunk the first night, a little bit. After that one drink at the Peacock Lounge or whatever. After we saw David Pumpkins, yeah, and that one drink was like...
shout out to you, David Pumpkins.
We loved him. Oh my God, we loved him. He was great. Sorry, we're very sidetracked. But yeah, so...
Chucky House, boo.
Yeah.
I would put it number 10 on my list.
I know.
I wouldn't even put it on my list.
Ah! And it's so sad.
Because I wanted it to scare the shit out of me.
Me too. 100%. And it didn't at all. And it's funny because our friends, the Wicked Thrill Seekers and Ghost Punk Horror, they loved it. And I think... Which is fine. But I think what they were saying is that they got a ton of scares, like a lot. And I'm thinking, really? Like where? Like, but hey, like that's sometimes how it goes at HHN. Mm-hmm. It's the luck of the draw, kind of, and where you are in line and where the scares are, and if there's a shift change, like there's a lot that could come into play. So
for sure.
And then the second one for us was The Last of Us. I'm so sad because that was my number 2. I was looking forward to that house so much. And I think what it was for me that I didn't like was that I wanted like more story, like more Joel and Ellie stuff. And Joel and Ellie were not even really in it. It was really just like the clickers, and we missed a lot of the big bloater guys.
I think we saw one.
We saw one, but he was like going back into position. Mm-hmm. That probably would have scared the shit out of me. But again, it was the luck of the draw. But again, like The Last of Us is so story oriented. Like Joel and Ellie, where were Joel and Ellie? Like there were some parts obviously where you could hear them, like what they're saying, but I didn't see any live actors that were... maybe one was Joel.
I saw Ellie the one time with the gun. And she was shooting something that was off, like you couldn't see what she was shooting at, but she was like, die, motherfucker.
That's right. Okay, yeah. I did see her and Joel, I think, once.
That was like it, though.
That was it. So, I don't know. I guess I was expecting more of that kind of storytelling thing in that house specifically.
I feel like I kind of, just based on the game and its reliance on sound, I thought that they would maybe play more into that as well. Yeah. But it was very loud. The whole thing, I mean, all the houses are loud, but I thought of anything, that one would have been like...
more quiet and more like clicker, like weird.
And I really don't remember hearing that many like clickers.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this could totally be... the fact that we just did not get those type of scares, and just the second night we didn't have Express Pass, so we weren't going to wait like 180 minutes to go in it again, especially not having the best experience the first time. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing, I feel like. I don't know. It seems like the Hollywood one was a little bit more of what I would have wanted, because there is a whole thing. Like, I've seen like spoilers of that where there's a whole thing with Joel and Ellie, and they're like, the actors are like interacting with each other, and I love that. Like, I just wish there was a little bit more of that. So that's where we are with that. Okay, and last thing here is our top scare zone.
Yay!
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
So my favorite scare zone was Dark Zodiac, which I don't think that's what we predicted.
Nope.
No, I said I said vamps.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did like that scare zone, but Dark Zodiac was really cool.
It was.
It was really cool, especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of fog pumping in there.
They did.
It was cool to like look around and find the different signs and see their design, like
their designs were cool.
Like the Gemini had the two faces, like a face on the front of their, like where their face would be, and then a face on the back. And the performer who was the Gemini was doing all this like fluid like dance movements.
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
turning their head, like it literally almost looked like they were turning their head all the way around by the way they would like spin and stuff. So you didn't know which face was their face.
Yeah.
Like,
That was incredible.
it was like very like I felt like almost like artistic like
yeah
takes on the Zodiac. And then of course our chainsaw boys and girls and theys were
yeah
were tormenting us through the.
It was good. The Scorpio lady, holy shit, she was amazing.
So cool.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, again, like you said, very artistic takes, but they're very creepy, kind of alien looking. I liked how
otherworldly.
Yeah, I liked how their signs would light
dimensions.
up. Like, very, very cool. Yeah.
Good makeup, good costume design.
Yeah, it was good. I would say for my favorite, it was the Jungle of Doom. There was literally like a tall, like almost praying mantis looking guy that was so cool. And like the masks and the makeup in there was so cool. Like there's
It was like neon, like they
Yeah.
had a lot of like neon green and like pink and red, like
and like eyeballs
animal
and
plant kind of hybrid things.
Yeah.
Like the mantis guy also like looked like a flower, like
Yeah.
a orchid or something.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think they, especially at night in that scare zone, it's so easy to hide and scare people. And I think they did an amazing job with that. And the little safari Dr. Oddfellow was so cool.
With his little like idol.
Yeah, I actually like, it didn't happen to us, but I saw him interact with two other people. And they were like, can you like take our soul? And he's like, yes, stare into the idol. And like the idol would glow. And like he like did a whole bit with them.
Souls.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I think we were waiting in line for food or something, or we were looking at the menus over there. And I was just like, wait, I want mine too. he left.
Next.
But I was like, wait. Yeah, no, that was an incredible scare zone. And obviously it's dark and spooky, and they had the whole like the plane crash. Like it was a vibe.
It was good.
I liked it a lot. So yeah, so I guess like the last thing I want to kind of say as far as our takeaways is for HHN is that the Express Pass was MVP. Like I don't think I'll ever go back without at least getting one Express Pass.
Agreed.
Like, being able to do all the houses that fast is really freaking cool. Like,
just having that peace of mind of like, okay, there's 10 houses. This thing's only going on for 8 hours. But seeing the wait times, like doing research ahead of time and seeing that some of the houses were consistently at least like a 2-hour wait, knowing that if you have Express Pass that you're going to be able to get through all of the houses versus like having to think, okay, we're gonna have to wait 2 hours for this one. Now there's only 6 hours left of the event, so if we have to wait another hour for this house, like now we've already wasted 3 hours.
Right.
It's not doable.
No, it's unideal. And honestly, like, it felt like, we see those memes where it's like you're walking right past those plebes in line. It's just like it's like, whoa.
You're like VIP.
Yeah,
VIP,
for real.
VIP.
It was nice, and I was like, wow. Like, can I go back to doing the other way? Like,
well, because we did. The first night we did Express. The second night we didn't, and we really didn't. I think our time limit was, we said like 20, 30 minutes. We were like, we're not waiting longer than 30 minutes for anything.
Yep.
Because
it's just too much.
It's
too much. And also, the next best tip is the last hour or two.
Oh my god.
That's the time. That is literally the time.
Yeah, if you can't afford an Express, I would probably say to go later.
Yep.
In the event, like you don't have to go right at 6:30 when it opens.
Yeah.
Because everything's gonna be busy at that time.
Definitely.
Even if you bum rush something, like you're still gonna wait. But by the last 2 hours of the event,
we were able to do like 3 houses in the last hour.
Like boom, 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 back to back to back.
Yeah.
Like as long as you know where they are and like
Yep.
Okay, we can do these 3 in a row because they're right next to each other. Like,
Yeah, that's key. So I guess those are my main takeaways from this trip.
I think it was also very clutch that we had our little drink holders.
Yes, I loved those. I genuinely loved those. Like I can't see myself not bringing those.
Like, I know it was an extra thing to wear because we already had our like lounge flies, but like it, you know, it weighs nothing and you just wear it like a crossbody. And
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about standing in line and carrying your cup just the whole time. You can just boop.
I loved that. I
Stick
loved
it right
that.
in there. I was also using it almost as a phone holster at a point. Like,
Yeah.
instead of putting my phone back and forth from my bag to my hand, I was like, oh, just put it right in there.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Oh, and then
the bad news.
So we had these little portable stools, and people know what they are, but we call them the Papa Squat. And we did a whole little commercial on it. Like last year we used them. They were a godsend for our freaking feet. But this
we
year
didn't have Express. So
Yep.
we were waiting in long lines
all night. And we made it to security, and they stopped us, and they said that they either were gonna take it or we'd have to go back to our vehicles and put them there. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
So portable stools are no longer.
They are not allowed, and according to them, they said that it was always like that, which is clearly not true because we brought them last year and used them with no issue, and people had brought them this year and used them. I had seen it in multiple Facebook groups, so I think it's the luck of if your security person is paying attention or not.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, even when I was looking at like signs of prohibited items upon entering the event, I didn't see it listed anywhere. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's just I didn't read the fine print or something, but I couldn't find anything. But that's what they told us.
Yeah. So lots of good things, some bad things, but overall it was an amazing trip. I would do it all over again.
And we will.
And we will next year. So thanks guys for watching, and sorry if you got spoiled, but I will make sure to put spoilers in the beginning. So.
And you should also totally let us know what your favorite houses were,
yes,
and scare zones, and things you liked and things you didn't like, and whatever.
All the things.
All the things.
Well, we love you. Thank you again, and we will see you guys soon. We'll probably be talking next time on the next episode about Disney.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.